rooftop units, so they have heat and air. Only place in the entire school that's got air.
The gym is also used when we have our K-4 students. Our neighborhood kids come here. They come in through the door and they sit in here and wait to go to their other buildings, or they wait to get picked up and go home. One safety issue that we have, among several of them, we have doors back here and we have doors over here. And those are nice exits, but there's no way, we don't have key fobs. So those aren't things that we could go in and out of quickly. So that does run into some issues when we have busing. So that's something that we would love to have, to be able to use key fobs to get in and out of there, just to make things a little bit more efficient and safer. You guys like to join the tour?
Oh, yes.
Questions at any time, they would love to answer those.
We have our student leadership team creeping around, so we can ask them also. Restroom, you're welcome to go into any of the restrooms if you would like.
I would love, and I guess I'll lead the way. This is our music room.
So this is where Mrs. Graham holds music, and we have music. We're on a 6-day rotation, so music is held in here. We are on our recorder unit right now, so you hear the sweet sounds of the recorder. And then that's a little bit of storage for Mrs. Graham, but you can see it's a little cramped, not the best. We would like to have a little more space, but she's made this her own. We also use this, we just had our spelling bee, so this is where we moved everything so that we could have our spelling bee.
So how often do they have music then?
We're on a 6-day rotation.
So everybody just gets it once every 6 days?
Yes.
Okay.
Very last penny. Yes, we will play the recorder. So the first half of the year, they still do, they are preparing for Veterans Day, Christmas, but then the second half, they're certainly now the recorder.
Basement. 18 years ago.
Or they think you're talking about.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we are going to head down. So we're going to go down to the basement. On our way there, please stop and check out our kitchen. We don't cook too much food here. It gets delivered to us. So our Mrs. Sickinger, our cafeteria manager, is responsible for heating things and serving them out of this kitchen. So you'll see she works wonders with a very, very small space. And then we'll head down to the basement. The other room you'll see when you go over here has our technology. What is it called, Mr.?
Server rack.
The server rack. So you'll get to see the server rack. The room is also kind of a catch-all for some things. So we collect and store some trays and other cafeteria equipment for the entire district in this room too. So you'll see a lot of it. It's not all for us. It's for the middle school and other elementaries too.
So before we head down, I'll give you a quick rundown of what's down there. So this building was built in 1941. It was originally supposed to be the high school conversion, and unfortunately this thing called World War II, it hit in 42 and shut everything down. So this back section that you're looking at was supposed to be temporarily. So when you go down there, I'll show you what it looks like now. It's kind of falling to pieces, so we got that thing quarantined off. You're going to see 3 extra boilers we put back in 2020. All of our gas, water, electric, everything comes in the basement, and like Mrs. House said, it's a catch-all. So that's, everything goes down there, if it's left or whatever else into it. So we'll take a tour if you could. There's a handrail on the side.
Yeah.
Make sure you're using it, coming up, going down. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Feel free to go past there to stop and take a look in the kitchen.
Well, we might not be allowed to go down there.
Why not? Oh, would you like to ask something?
Enter at your own risk.
Yeah, enter at your own risk.
We're not allowed to go. Enter at your own risk. We're not allowed to go there, but enter at your own risk.
Let's catch that fire dollar.
Enter at your own risk. We're not allowed to go down there, but enter at Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, that is a tiny kitchen. Nice kitchen.
Nobody gets tiny.
I know, you guys are doing a good job.
It's not allowed down there, but enter at your own risk.
Should I be scared? Be good was the future, and I got here, they said, we aren't supposed to let anybody in. I mean, they saw this, didn't they?
The IPs, then Amanda was like, you don't know who I am?
No, I do not. I'm scared to look at the steps now.
Yeah, it goes to the right and then it keeps going forward. Yeah, no, you're not out. I saw it.
I want to take the tunnel to Welty.
All the other stuff, that's back from the original stuff. Any questions or anything? Yeah, these are probably the smallest ones we have. Most of ours are like almost a billion.
Mr. Haney, I want to walk. Yeah, I've never met.
Right on the first one up. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, actually, we only know 40% of you have a hunch that the rest of you, you gotta really give me a hunch.
Okay, got it.
It's either stuck in there or out I feel like I keep giving you
Some years ago.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, it does look a little bit different.
Yeah. I'm glad you're here though.
That's the kitchen?
That is the kitchen, yeah.
That is what she uses to feed 200 and some kids every day. Yep. So I guess one thing that I'll point out before we move down this hallway, this is the door that when our buses drop our kids off, they come up there. It is handicap accessible. It does get a little bit slick, but it is handicap accessible. So that's a good thing. That's a positive. If we go down this way, for the most part, you'll see classrooms down here. You're welcome to look in here. This is our sensory room.
It's better than East. The East I was down in the basement by the boiler. I'm telling you, that's where.
So our sensory room isn't used a ton this year, but it is used for anyone in the school who needs some type of a break. And we've had it used frequently this year, but in past years, much more. This also is a room that has a private bathroom back here, which has some safety features. You're welcome to look at that if you would like. So this room is not a classroom, it is our sensory room. And then the bathroom's right back here if you'd like to take a look. It certainly is not the best, and it certainly is something that we would like to have some better options for our students, but you're welcome to go and take a look.
Your sensory room is better than East's. Ours is a little tiny.
It is a big
thing.
space. You are right. It is a big space.
No, I didn't get to go to South, but I work in East, so.
It's about the size of.
That's about ours. That's about ours.
They're building.
I don't think people realize, well, there's a lot of things they don't realize. That's a huge one for me. No elementary school has a hallway this way. It's because it was high school.
The one nice thing.
It was a high school. And
That's
that's,
the fireplaces and all.
With her being there, she
That's
made
cool.
like more.
like going down there and turning right, that wind was supposed to go just as far that way as
One time she was talking about the colleges,
but they ripped it up, you know, and went to that way.
I didn't think she knows.
And then they never came back and finished it. But we knew we needed it. Clearly, they passed something to build this for a high, to be a high school, you know? And that was 80 years ago. Oh, that's right.
Ouch.
I'm trying to get her out of shadows. I'll figure out she likes it because she's gonna be in the nursing school.
That's unacceptable.
Yeah, she works out of Cincinnati. She lived with the girls at high school. Same campus. Same campus.
Sensory room. Girls' restroom. Nothing too great about that. However, you are welcome to look in there and see.
I think they're better than 12.
You're right.
They're in the dumpster. That and down by the gym.
So these next set of rooms are our classrooms. This is Mr. Love and Miss Warner. They are a teaching team. If you want to come in, this is our room. Two of those 6 days, we have our art teacher in here, Mrs. Warner, and then 2 other days, we have Mrs. Vile, who's our literacy teacher. So it is a space for art and a space for literacy.
Nice and hot here.
This is cool.
Oh, this is cool. Yeah, I'm like, ooh, it's hot here. Denver would love it.
It gets incredibly. There is air blowing out nonstop. Even if we turn it off, it's still on. So this is a room that might get hot.
Good for
For
you.
your space, yeah. We also use this room if we have workroom or if we have math tutoring. This is one of the spaces that we use. So it's used every day, even if our art teacher isn't here and even if our literacy teacher isn't here. It still is a room that we use frequently. And there is a bathroom, but I'm not going to use it.
Isn't that great? We don't use it for that. Oh, like reading against it?
If you want to move down this way, these are just classrooms.
Oh, yeah. My younger brother does too.
All right, I have 2 of my student leadership team members who will introduce themselves and will explain all of the different things that are in this space.
So I'm Blair Tidrick. And I'm Lady Bath. So that's the office, is where his house is in there, and like our secretary is also in there, and Miss Spiker's sometimes in there, and she's here. And this is Miss Richardson's room. She's a like intervention teacher. And then down this hallway we have the patio, which it's not in use because the patio is broken.
Yep, we went downstairs and saw it at the bottom.
There's also a teacher supply room in there around the corner.
So I'll give you some time to take a look. So this is our teacher workroom. You'll see it's kind of in a charming Hogwarts castle way. this is our teacher's workroom. You see, this used to be an emergency exit, but it's just structurally unsound, so we can't go out this way anymore. You're welcome to take a look out there, but please don't go out there. You could collapse.
It's like the floor.
You're welcome to come in and take a look at the office.
But the wood is kind of hard to wear. The hole above the door. Like I said, that was supposed to be the front of high school. Never got to. Oh, it wasn't closed in high school. They built it to be a high school and never moved in because of war. They went, like I said, they built it up, never.
The next room. Because this was the ELA, this is where this is. I need your time to go.
Oh, I thought you said K through 4.
Go get him.
So if you'd like to come, you certainly don't have to, but if you'd like to come, we can go look at the modular units, where our library is, where our social worker meets, where Springvale, our outside counselors come in and meet with students.
I'm still kicking.
No more class.
No more classroom, well, the library, so that's a special that meets on that 6-day rotation.
The original modular from years ago.
These are, yeah, okay.
I had classes in here at one point in time.
All right, so this is our library, and what you'll see is Mrs. Tomlin is fabulous and has done a wonderful job with the space that she has. She was very nervous about having everyone in here today. So this once again is a special, so every 6 days our students have library out here.
Noah will be 11 next week. He's in there.
Yep.
Not a lot to choose from.
No, it's really not. And when you get a class of 25 in here, and they're 5th graders, there's not a ton of space. She had stools in here, and our kids were just like falling off of them, and they were breaking because 5th graders are not all tiny. So we got her some new chairs, and like I said, she has this space utilized as best as she can, certainly. Last year, this space used to be, if you can imagine, an art room and a library. So this entire space over here was actually set aside for the art room. And she had all of her supplies. So we at least were able to move the art teacher inside so that this is only used for we ordered some new bookshelves. These bookshelves that are over here are all new this year. So if you can imagine it, the space was much smaller actually last year. Wow. So this is Mrs. Tomlin. This is where our students have, and oh, she wanted me to point out that she does a caught reading. So every time she sees students reading, they get caught reading little certificates in grades 3, 4, and 5. So that is why she has those names up here, and that is what this relates to as well. All right, so our other modular unit is for our social worker, Mrs. Leeper, and for our Springvale counselors. She's our social worker. She's not just in this building, she splits her time with a bunch of students in different buildings. So she meets with students here. If you look back that way and you're about to go back this way, there are some storage rooms that used to be used for our EL students. They used to be actual meeting rooms where we bring students to learn. Thankfully, we don't need to do that anymore. We also have, this is Springvale right here, and then in the very back is all of our clothes and toiletries and supplies that we give out, not just to this building, but to the district. We use this room back here. So you're welcome to look in them. There's not a ton to see. Like I said, the great thing is that we don't have to use these for actual teachers to meet with students anymore. They're strictly used to store some of our science supplies and the supplies that we just don't have any room for anywhere else in the building. Oh, sorry.
You're okay. You're all right. Thank you. Jeez. I told you.
Be careful going down.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, and I gave it my, give it mine also.
We'll go ahead and head back in and I'll let you guys go upstairs and take a look at the different things that we have.
Cooper. Mrs. McCurry's box.
Okay.
He said he had a meat sub today. He come home saying, man, she was a meat sub. Well, it was, her first, I can understand why. Her first class was pushing because it was, oh, we got a sub, we don't have to act like,
I don't take the job.
So what are you gonna do downtown?
I think it should be pointed out too, that like anything that happens on bus, or your student with a disability.
Absolutely, yes.
That has mobility issues, you can't access.
One of the other reasons why we had to make sure to move all of our specials down here, because there's no way other than going up and down the stairs to get upstairs. Absolutely. We don't have an elevator. There's no way for students to get upstairs other than to be carried or to hobble up if they can. And we have had instances where we really had to be purposeful when we were scheduling students, because we do have students who can't go up the steps. Or who would grow incredibly tired from going up and down the steps all day. So they have no choice but to go with this team or to Mrs. Miller.
And I just think about, and think about that student who, I don't get to be included in all the areas of my school. I just think of what that does to a student's psyche. I can't even participate in everything that goes on in my school all the time. I go to the school, but I've never seen you upstairs. you know.
And you'll see that even though there are classrooms up there, there also is a really big room that we use as like a multi-purpose room. And so they wouldn't get to go into that room. Their class wouldn't ever be able to use that room. Or if they did, they wouldn't get to go upstairs with them. And you'll see it's a really large room. We do a lot of collaboration up there. Teams going together, teachers going together in there. So that's a place that would be unavailable to those students. Mhm.
We looked at putting a lift in here. It was about $150,000.
Yeah.
So we did investigate it, we looked into it, and the cost and justifiable. So
Right.
tough change. And that was either steps or we'll set up the same like that.
Yeah.
If you'd like to follow me up, you certainly don't have to, but we can go upstairs and take a look.
And of course, any and everything that has to do with disability services is super simple.
So we saw our art room downstairs, but there's just so many supplies and so many different projects that she would like to do with our students that her art room and supplies have kind of spilled out into here as well. The art room was planned to be upstairs, and you'll see we have a really beautiful, nice, I'm not gonna say beautiful, a really big room up here. But once again, because not all students could access it, she's downstairs in a smaller space, so her supplies are up here as well. All right, here we have two of our student leadership team members. Would you like to tell us about this space?
We have our rooms here, and this is our hallway. There's Mrs. Pipes' room. The boys' restrooms over there. The girls' restrooms all the way over there. This is Miss Walker's room. There's Miss Kneffler's room, and that's pretty much all.
So beside the average classroom, we do have some little spaces for some of our teachers. We have Mr. Ruiz, who is our EL para, and then we have Mrs. Howell, who's one of our title teachers. And this is their space. It's not much, and they can't fit many students in, but this is the shared space that they have. So if they have more than a couple students, they have to find a different space, but that is what they use at times. You missed their spiel. Oh. Billy.
You need 21 desks.
25.
She'll be with a new one. So I did fifth grade band here.
What was your thing?
This was the library. Yeah. That was the door went in, that's the door went out.
So now we sectioned it off a little bit, we got a nice little classroom out of here.
Compared to the middle school.
And our EL room, actually. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Hey, how are you?
Hello, how are you doing? When I taught fifth grade band, I'm telling them this was the door into the library, that was the door out of the library.
So we did carve out some space, yeah. So this is, Miss Ramey is one of our title teachers, so, and this is a great space she has small groups of kids, 6 to 8 students, 8 being the biggest. So that is her space. Across the hall is Miss Mahalik, and she is our She works with our EL students. So also a nice space. Are there windows in her room? No, there's not, but she utilizes every single part of it. She also works with small groups of students in there. So small groups of students, small groups of students. And so it works for what we need it for.
Were there lockers, metal lockers in here at one time?
You would have to ask someone who has been here longer than
Kelly
me.
or Mr. Haney?
I don't remember. I don't remember having one.
Do you know?
In my, this was always this, that I know of.
We went here, but.
Well, then that's up to you. I never went here.
It's been too long to remember. I can kind of remember.
I was down in that room down there.
So, yeah, I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Mr. Kirby, I have a question. I want to make sure I'm remembering something.
Yeah.
So there is no, fifth grade band is no longer a thing?
Hasn't been since '99.
Okay, so.
Amy and I were talking. Like, I would love.
How many teachers do they normally have?
They're normally on a two-person, so they'll have one teacher for.
I was a fifth grade band in this thing. I that saxophone orchestra.
No, they've come through, yes.
Pants underneath, and then you put them somewhere where it was.
Then this is, 1223 is, what we use just for our, there's no teachers in here, it's just, collaborative.
So it started sound funky and then it got a fresh.
Cold or otherwise,
something, and then it was a spray something and then it got rude. It got a funky smell up there.
And then this is room 223, this is our collaboration space. We did have a teacher in here last year, but our numbers went down, so we don't need to use it for our classrooms. So it's just a really nice, big, meeting space for when we have multiple meetings. We've used it for different professional development. When you sit on them, they wobble a little bit, so they're very helpful.
The pad ones there, they're air pads and they're just supposed to be put on the chair and then you sit on it. It's another sensory for a student who needs sensory while sitting.
There's snowman competition. That was cute. Yeah, Mr. Ruthsager and Miss J did a collaboration with their snowmen, so Travis Kelsey and Taylor Swift. Yeah. So then, just to end up here, we have our girls' restroom. We have a drinking fountain, which did fall off of the wall at one point this year, but Mr. Connor was able to fashion it back up. We have our teacher lounge where they eat. There's a restroom in there for them. Mrs. Cassini is our speech teacher. Mrs. Cassini works at West and at Central. She splits her time. It's not bad. The air conditioner does not work, so. Second grade was in here? Yeah.
She's over there. She's out front.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Sounds good. Is there anything you would like to add?
This is our arena where sometimes kids can go to read silently. And
That's it?
about it.
Yeah, that's it. Right, I agree with you. Yeah. So you're welcome to see it as a cute little area. It would be nice to have like an actual classroom, but this is how we utilize our space here. We use every single ounce of it at Central. That is kind of the end. If you would like to go back down the stairs, I think the board meeting will start in 8 minutes. So does anyone have any other questions for myself or for her?
How many students do you have this year?
About 200.
Did you take the little classroom area that you're not using and utilize this into it?
Which one?
The one classroom you're not using.
Sometimes we do. So in room 223, that big room, we do our math tutoring, which is every day, and that's peer tutoring. So we have some of our best math students selected by their teachers, work with our students who need that, and we need a big space for that. So that's every day during lunch and recess. I run that. Teachers can sign out that big room, and they can either work together, which they've done. They can do bigger projects. Mr. Love did a social studies project where he did latitude and longitude, and so he had everything spread out. Our science teachers have set up labs, and they've rotated through that space. So I can't imagine not having that, and last year they didn't because we had an extra teacher and that room was filled. So we use that space every day, all day.
That's good.
Yeah. So we're glad that we have it. I don't know any other space though that we could put this little area.